NextGen management is a new way of managing people so as to bring out their best. I think it's widely accepted now that we need to make some radical changes in the way we manage people. The Chartered Institute of Management has recently made such a statement: a change in direction is needed. When you think, well, what is the reason for that? Why are we starting to really evaluate the way we manage people? We're looking at the results that we're getting. Employee engagement is the big issue at the moment. Even at government level, a task force has been set up to try and improve engagement under David McLeod, the chairman, which we are contributing to. Well, why is the government so interested in engagement? Why are companies so interested in engagement? If you say to the top 100 chief execs of the FTSE 100, what's your biggest three issues? One, almost certainly in the top three, would be employee engagement. Reason for that is there's a causal link between engagement and effort. You know yourself that if you feel really engaged with a project, then you put extra effort in, don't you? You put discretionary effort in, it's called, more than the norm. And that links on automatically to results, productivity. Now in this country at the moment, according to the Office of National Statistics in April this year, they published a report that showed that productivity in the UK is more than 30% lower than the US and Germany. This is a ticking time bomb. You cannot continue to do that without eventually impacting on the overall well-being and health of the country. So we've got to find a way of getting people engaged better than they are today. They are at all-time lows in terms of surveys of engagement levels. Engagement is very much related to the trust level that you have in your employer. And trust is at an all-time low for all sorts of reasons. So the government's task force were very keen to find out, well, what is it that really triggers engagement? What are the drivers of engagement? What is the main driver of engagement? They came up with something like 75 different potential reasons. Our own research over 7 years showed that there was one that was far more important than all of the others. And that is the direct relationship that an employee has with their immediate manager. Do they feel that their interests are taken into account? Do they feel that they are being well treated? Can they trust the manager? If they don't, are they likely to go the extra mile and put in extra effort for them? The answer is no. That's why it's been said famously, people join companies but leave managers. And the research shows that 80% of people that leave their job do so because of issues with the manager. So that is something that really needs to be thought about. What is it that managers are doing which is disengaging people? And you have to go back to the origins of management to understand that. But one analogy that is very useful in understanding it is the difference between a Coxed 8 rowing crew and a whitewater rafting crew. In the Coxed 8 crew, you can think of this yourself, think of the university boat race. You have two crews lined up at Putney Bridge the last weekend of March every year, and they set off on a 4.2 mile journey to Mortlake, and the first one that gets there, Oxford or Cambridge, wins the race. Now, there are three specific characteristics of a Coxed 8 crew. The first one is that only one person knows which way they're going, can see which way they're going. That's the cox. The other 8 are following blind. They have to take it on trust that the pacing of the cox, the stroking of the cox, the direction that he's leading them in is correct. And sometimes when it hasn't been correct, the boat has sunk. And that's what's happened when you have poor direction, followed blindly. So that's the first characteristic. The second characteristic is that boat races tend to take place on calm water. There was a famous case in 1912 where both boats sunk in very heavy water. And occasionally boats have sunk when the cox's instructions have gone astray, or where the boats have collided and so forth. But generally speaking, it's calm water It's conducive to a Coxed 8 race, isn't it? The third characteristic of a Coxed 8 race would be a predictable outcome. You know what the result's going to be. You know that in about 24 minutes you're going to get to that finish line, and that's it. So within reason, it's a predictable situation, but it demands blind trust on behalf of the crew. Now you take the other scenario we mentioned, the whitewater rafting. Now in that scenario, there is no captain that you can rely on. You are all in it together. You have to pull together instinctively as a team to meet any eventuality that might arise, any panic situation that might arise. And it's a totally different scenario. Now the first one is more analogous to the management model for the last 100 years. We've relied on managers to direct the ship, blindly follow them. They instruct us, they bark out instructions, they tell us what to do, they plan everything, they organise it, and generally speaking, the waters have been calm in the last 100 years for business, and the predictable outcomes have been there. So much growth per year in the manufacturing century. Today, of course, it's all different. We are living in the ultimate whitewater rafting environment in business today. It's totally different, isn't it? There's no calm waters anymore. Everything is a bit of a panic now. Everything has to be done quickly. And in that scenario, we need to pull together as teams. The manager is no longer the command and control element of the piece, setting all the rules, setting all the stick and carrot motivations, telling you what to do, involving people only as needed, barking out information and sharing information as on a need-to-know basis. That was how it was really with the old management model. Generally, not always, there's always been great managers, but the general culture of organisations has often been in that way. Hierarchical, command and control. And what we've done is we've stopped people contributing inadvertently in their best possible way. And today we're not suited for that. The world doesn't want that anymore. We have major drivers that have changed all that. So what we need is a new way of managing people. And our research over 7 years and pilot programs with the NextGen Manager Programme has shown great effectiveness in a new model, which is much more about creating trust between the manager and the team, building trust between the group, and inspiring them by the use of emotional drivers, motivators, that can bring about their extra effort, their discretionary effort, because they feel their needs are being met, then they will reciprocate. And this management model that we've created and which we've developed and which we now promote through this program is called the NextGen Management Programme.